Raiders defensive end Carl Nassib has become the first active NFL player to come out as gay. The 28-year-old Nassib made the announcement on Instagram yesterday afternoon during Pride Month.
What's up, people? I'm Carl Nassib. I'm at my house here in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Just want to take a quick moment to say that I'm gay. I've been meaning to do this for a while now, but I finally feel comfortable enough to get it off my chest. I really have the best life. I got the best family, friends, and job a guy could ask for. I'm a pretty private person, so I hope you guys know that I'm really not doing this for attention. I just think that representation and visibility are so important. I actually hope that one day videos like this and the whole coming out process are just not necessary. But until then, I'm going to do my best and do my part to cultivate a culture that's accepting, that's compassionate, and I'm going to start by donating $100,000 to the Trevor Project. They're an incredible organization. They're the #1 suicide prevention service for LGBTQ youth in America, and they're truly doing incredible things. And I'm very excited to be a part of it, to help in any way that I can. And I'm really pumped to see what the future holds.
The Raiders responded to Nassib's post with a tweet saying, quote, "Proud of you, Carl," and Nassib's former teammate at Penn State, Saquon Barkley, tweeting, "Much respect." Jason Collins, who in 2013 became the first NBA player to come out as gay, tweeted, "Very proud of Carl Nassib, incredibly happy for him, and can't wait to watch him play this upcoming season." NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell releasing this statement saying, quote, "The NFL family is proud of Carl for courageously sharing his truth today. Representation matters. We share his hope that someday soon statements like this will no longer be newsworthy as we march toward full equality for the LGBTQ community, and we wish Carl the best of luck this coming season." I'll just say quickly, I'm so happy for him that he's able to live his truth, and he's going to be helping so many other people, obviously, with this representation in the NFL. Stephen A., what was your reaction to the news?
Well, I was happy for him because, obviously, he felt comfortable and strong enough to come out and acknowledge who he is and what he's all about. And clearly you have people from the LGBTQ community that some are hesitant to do that because of the shrapnel of criticism and level of discomfort that would be aimed in their direction. And obviously I'm not a member of that community, so I don't know specifically what they have to endure. As a black man, one can only imagine what they're going through, because when you talk about prejudice and being ostracized or what have you, that would be something black folks would know something about, even though, again, this is on a different scale. And so whatever their situations are, whatever their trials and tribulations, whatever kind of things that they have to endure, they're experts in that field. They're the ones that can speak to that. And so when they talk about what they've had to endure and how they finally had the courage enough to come out, I think it's a reminder of the shame that a lot of us should feel for making them feel ashamed or making them feel as if they have to hide who they truly are. Really, it's not just about celebrating him for his quote unquote bravery and courage. It's an indictment against us as a society for making somebody feel as if bravery and courage is required just by letting people know who you are and what your sexual orientation may be, what your lifestyle may be, et cetera, et cetera. It's really an indictment against us. It just serves as a reminder that no matter how far we may think we've come as a society, we still have a very, very long ways to go, because you have people out there from these respective communities that are speaking about hate. They're speaking about being ostracized. They're speaking about the venomous things and the hostilities aimed in their direction, just because they're living their lives the way they see fit, not doing harm to anybody, and people are bothering them, harassing them, maligning them, in a lot of cases even willing to do physical harm to them. It's an indictment against us as a society that even in the year 2021, somebody like Carl Nassib comes out and we say courage and we point to bravery, because even he said, I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember his exact words, but even he alluded to the fact that it shouldn't even be about this. I've been this way, and I'm letting you know I'm hopeful for the day where this isn't news, where this isn't required. This doesn't make headlines. It just shows you that we're still living under that umbrella, that shroud of cynicism and skepticism and such a strong level of negativity that we really, really need to eradicate from our society today.
Yeah, 75 years, almost 3/4 of a century ago, Jackie Robinson broke the so-called color barrier in Major League Baseball. And that didn't mean, hey, now racism is over, or even the baseball major leagues are integrated. No, that's not what that meant. But it did mean in 1947 that a member of a very large and very oppressed group has now made it on the highest level, and was also a member of that group, professional athletes at the highest level in his sport. And it is telling that it is 3/4 of a century later almost that a gay man feels comfortable enough to come out and tell everyone that he's gay in the NFL. 3/4 of a century. Is that the last very large and oppressed group to finally have representation, or at least be out in terms of at least a member of that group represented at the highest level in their sport? 3/4 of a century it took. So think about the bigotry that gay people must feel in order for those conditions to have lasted so long, that no gay athlete, and we know from the percentage of the population that's gay, of course there are gay athletes in every sport. But in the NFL, this is the first one to come out and say, okay, this is a part of me. This is part of who I am. That is mind-boggling. Just consider the level of bigotry that he must have, and that gay people must have experienced in the NFL. By the way, there's a quote I want to read from Robert Klemko, who's a writer at the Washington Post, Stephen A. In 2013, he tweeted this. In 2013, I asked an NFL coordinator on background if he thought the league would ever accept an openly gay player. We're going back, 8 years? He said no, quote, because nobody wants to shower with an expletive, with a expletive. And that's what gay people have been facing. And it is sad comment. It's a happy day on the one hand that finally representation in the open in the NFL. And as you pointed out, it is also sad commentary that this is 75, almost 3/4 of a century after Jackie Robinson.
I just want to add really quick, Stephen A., before you jump back in. He also said that he struggled with this decision for 15 years. So 15 years, you feel like you have to live closeted and you can't live your truth. So I'm so happy for him that he has that freedom and that weight off his shoulder.
I'm happy for him too, but I will say this, and this is not just about him. This is not just about any members of the LGBTQ community. This is about, this could be about black folks. This could be about anybody. All of us have to get to a point, and I guess I'm just built differently, and a lot of people are just built differently. We all have to get to a point where understand people are not going to like you. People are not going to approve of you for whatever reason. And at the end of the day, so what? Now, the so what is not applicable when someone is trying to do you harm, physically or otherwise. The so what is not applicable when, there are no laws that are passed that speak to civil liberties and civil rights, and making sure that those are the kind of things that are accorded to all of us as God's children and as human beings. Of course, that's not a so what mentality with that. But if the laws of our land support equality and make sure that civil rights and civil liberties are accorded to us all, and you're not being bothered, then you can't trip over somebody not liking you, not liking your lifestyle, not liking you because of the color of your skin. Because let me tell you something. No one in this world, no one is going to have universal love. There's a reason. You can go to church all the time. You can go to the synagogue. You can go to the mosque. You can go anywhere. They talk about the Lord and they talk about the devil. There's going to be good. There's going to be evil. There's going to be that's just the way that it is. Yeah. And you got to be able to accept that the goal should never be to be liked by everybody, because it will never happen, except the fact that there are people who are not going to approve. They're not going to like you. They're going to look for reasons to dislike you and ostracize you and all of that stuff. But it's okay, because
I hear that point
to you, and you're supported by people and loved ones and what have you. And as long as you've got that together and you're not being bothered, live your life.
I hear that point, Stephen. And you you accounted for this point, but I think it's plain that most gay people, especially athletes, clearly have not felt that it's simply an issue of people disapproving, but that their disapproval would affect their lives. That you always have to ask,
I know that.
who is the group in power? And the disenfranchised group or the marginalized group or the oppressed group, what kind of power do they have to counteract it?
Right.
And we're finally at a place where I think, I would hope, many gay people feel we now have enough advocates and enough power on our side that we will not be harmed by those.
And that's what I'm saying.
Of course. But
And
Stephen
now that you got that,
but
and
Stephen A.
continue
brought
to
up an
get that.
important point.
Just don't worry about them
basically
not
saying,
liking you.
don't worry about people's approval. We're not going to have everybody's approval. We all want
right.
people to like us, but at the end of the day, just worry about your inner circle and being right with yourself. And I think that's a great point. So thank you for saying that, especially from you. I also want to highlight this before we go to break, an important message. This was in Nassib's post. Young LGBTQ kids are 5 times more likely than their straight friends to consider suicide. And studies have shown that all it takes is one accepting adult to decrease the risk of an LGBTQ kid attempting suicide. So whether you're a friend, a parent, a coach, or a teammate, you can be that person.